say is if you're going to be honest about it, I wonder if you're excited about the fact that you have a guy like Cam Ward who carries your first name and wears it proudly and is unapologetic about how confident he is in his game, but also a guy like Cam Ward who feels like it's not just the aura on the field, but he's that great in person when you're talking to him, when you're asking him about what he's going to do at the next level in the NFL. What do you feel like you picked up from him if that was maybe your first time just interacting with him on a man-to-man basis?
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I've interacted with him on small occasions previously, but this was probably the most expansive. And I'll tell you what, he's got a lot of confidence.
Man.
You know, you meet him, and he's reserved naturally as a one-on-one, but when you get to see him on the football field, he's got a little confidence, he's got a little swag. And there was a moment during the pro day, if people were watching, where he throws a throw off of one leg and hits a dime in there, and he goes and barks at a couple of Titans guys with T-shirts on. Well, that was the team president and the general manager. And so I asked him after the pro day what he said to him, and he said to them, I'm solidifying it today.
Ooh.
And I asked, did they hear you? And he said, I made sure they heard me. And I'm like, okay. I like that level of confidence, that level of swag from my quarterback. Some people may call it cockiness, but to me, that's a guy who knows he's deserving of the number one overall pick.
Yeah, man, like this dude is the real deal. I felt that when I first spoke with him at the ACC kickoff, ACC football media days in the summer ahead of Miami season. Everybody thought Florida State would be the top dog in the ACC. Everybody thought that the Hurricanes could potentially be the third best college program in the state of Florida, but he was the difference maker. He proved everybody wrong with his play on the field this year. What do you think his ceiling kind of is? What's the feel around the league to where this guy can blossom into if when he starts playing on Sundays?
Yeah, it's funny because early on in the draft process, there was a lot of talk of Cam versus Shador and who's one, who's two. Is it just the best of a bad quarterback class? If more I talk to teams, they say there is a clear gap, and Cam is the clear number one in this class. And Shador's, somewhere behind him second. And there is belief that he has elite potential. That really has been the only question that's been limiting Cam, is that he's not the biggest guy, he's not the strongest guy, he's not the fastest guy. So it's okay, can he be a top 3, top 5 quarterback in this league? But talking to coaches, including the Titans head coach, Brian Callahan, they talked about his potential, his ceiling, his ability to make plays inside and outside of the pocket. And also the instincts and the intangibles, things you can't measure. So I had one coach reference the calmness and poise he had was similar to what we saw with Jaden Daniels last year. Now, they're different style quarterbacks, but that type of trait is really a trait of success. And so he's a lot of experience. He started 5 years in college football. And so there's hope that he can come in and contribute not only day one, but potentially be an upper tier starter for many years in this league.
Right. He also doesn't he seem to feel like he has that level of work ethic and that level of dedication. Yeah. Now I don't know how his mom treats him. I don't know if she fends off the ladies like Jaden Daniels' mom does, because you know that could be a distraction. But outside of that, like, the dude is so locked in and honed in on being a star, and it makes sense because of like where he came from, how he had to get it out of the mud with football, right?
Yeah, he was a 0-star prospect coming out of high school. Like, they didn't even give him 1 star. Like, I don't even know you play NCAA if you can even recruit 0-star prospects. But that's where Cam Ward was, and that's how he ended up in Incarnate their words. So he essentially came from people saying he would be nothing and made himself the potential number 1 overall pick. You're right, the work ethic. I got a chance to meet his dad, Calvin, this week. He works essentially as his agent doing his contract. He's a guy who handles business for big companies. And so he has the workman-like perspective that I'm sure, his dad put on him. But you also see a level of intelligence, too. I think one thing talking to teams that maybe he doesn't get enough credit on is how smart he is. He's been great on the board in team rooms, and there's often a cliche when it comes to athletic black quarterbacks that it's just their skill set. Well, Cam's got it all. He's got the smarts. He's got the ability to read defenses, and I think whoever drafts him, and it seems likely it'll be the Tennessee Titans, is going to end up having them a franchise quarterback for years to come.
Now, Cam, C-Cat and I were going back and forth on this earlier. We're trying to figure out, are the Titans brass just trying to like angle and leverage up this pick so that people can maybe trade up for it? Or do you get a feel that they really do believe, like, we're in the AFC, we have to have a A-tier quarterback to compete in this conference, and this guy could be that?
Well, they've been scouting him since, end of last year, early this past season. Like, they were at Georgia Tech's game this past year, and they've got a lot of evaluation of him. My thought is that, especially as the process is going on and they've got to know him, they get more amped up on taking him 1 overall. I think you're looking at a situation where they can't put Will Levis back out there last year like they did last year. They got a new stadium coming in 2027, and they got to entice people why to care about Titans football, and there hasn't been much reason to care about Titans football in the last few years. And so I do think they've listened to calls, but it's hard to pass on a quarterback at 1 when you need one, and that's the gauge I get. I got a chance to talk to their head coach, Brian Callahan, and he was telling me that he thinks that Cam would be a great fit with the system, and he loves everything about him. And once your coach signs off on it, it's really just up to the front office and pulling that trigger. Now, the Giants were at his pro day too, the general manager, Joe Shane, and he was, having those conversations. And, I can only imagine how many kids he's trying to offer to figure out how he can get up to number 1. And so you never know if that Godfather offer is big enough. But as of now, I think that it's more, much more likely than not they stay at number 1 and take Cam Ward.
Now, Cam, right now, if you look at next year's NFL draft, the quarterback class is such deep compared to the one this year. Is that going to have any effect on if this number 1 pick is traded or not?
It's all a factor. Teams always look a quarterback class ahead. But I had one scout say this to me. Every year we say, hey, the quarterback class next is going to be this incredible one, and then something happens. Somebody doesn't play as well, somebody gets hurt, somebody decides to stay at school, and then it's only 2 guys that are worth playing. And so you're always waiting until next year. He said if you keep waiting until next year, you're not going to be around next year to see it. And so some of these teams got to make a decision now to really solidify that job.
Speaking of General Manager Joe Shane, he was at the pro day. He might have also been handing in early applications. See if there's a backup. Cam, hey, appreciate you as always. Howling, where's my howling with the Wolf button? Here, it didn't. Can you hit it? I got to hear that howl one time before we get him out of here. My last quick question. You've got about 30 seconds here. Do you think Heat fans boo Jimmy Butler tonight at Kaseya Center?
Yeah, I think you get more boos than cheers. A few cheers, but mostly boos. I think they're hurt. They're hurt how he left them, and the team's not doing well. So I think, hurt people hurt people.
I get it. I can't stand to hear and see that, but I appreciate your time, Cam. We'll catch up with you next week. That is it. That was Cameron Wolfe from NFL Networks. Thanks for tapping in on a Tuesday. Go in love, go in peace, go enjoy.
Improve your golf game fast at the all-new Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center.